What if the dead aren't really gone? Deep beneath Egypt's sands lies a book so terrifying the pharaohs tried to erase it from history. This isn't a myth, it's real. A text buried with the kings, said to hold the secrets of life after death and how to come back. This is Voices of the Forgotten, where Africa's deepest mysteries rise again. Let me guide you to the Valley of the Kings, in the heart of ancient Kemet, what the world now calls Egypt. The year is 1842. The desert wind howls, and a team of explorers, led by Carl Richard Lepsius, stumbles upon a sealed tomb, untouched for millennia. Inside, they find not just gold and mummies, but a papyrus scroll, longer than any they've seen, covered in strange, shimmering hieroglyphs. But this is not the first time the world has heard whispers of such a book. For centuries, local griots and elders in Upper Egypt have told tales of a forbidden text passed down in secret, said to hold the power to command the spirits of the dead. Some say the book was first spoken of by the priests of Waset, Thebes, who guarded the tombs of the pharaohs and the secrets of the afterlife. The Book of the Dead, they called it, but its true name, lost to time, was the Book of Coming Forth by Day, a guide for the soul and a weapon for those who dared to use it. The story begins over 3,500 years ago in the city of Waset on the banks of the Nile. Here, the priests of Amun and Thoth, keepers of wisdom and magic, gathered in secret. They believed the world was a thin veil, and that with the right words, one could cross from life to death and back again.
The earliest days before the pyramids, a shaman named Nefru sits by the Nile, listening to the wind. One night, under a sky of falling stars, she dreams of Thoth, the god of wisdom, who gives her a scroll of light. When she wakes, strange symbols are burned into the sand. She copies them onto papyrus. The first spell of the Book of the Dead is born. The knowledge spreads, passed from shaman to shaman, each adding their own visions. Over generations, the scrolls grow into a living book, always changing. The priests of the early temples guard it fiercely, believing it is a gift from the gods, meant only for the pure of heart. But as Egypt grows, so does ambition. The pharaohs hear whispers of the book's power. Some say the priests found the original scrolls hidden in a cave near the first cataract of the Nile, guarded by spirits and deadly traps. Others claim the book was stolen from the Temple of Thoth itself in a daring midnight raid. However it happened, the Book of the Dead comes into the hands of the pharaohs. This was no ordinary book. It was a guide, a weapon, and a threat. Its pages held rituals so powerful, Egypt's own priests tried to keep it hidden, even from their kings. Over centuries, its secrets were scattered, rewritten, and nearly lost. In the hands of the pure, it promised safe passage through the afterlife, protection from demons, and reunion with ancestors. The priests would recite its spells over the dead, painting the words on tomb walls, wrapping them in linen, placing amulets on their chests. But there was a darker side. Some spells could summon the dead, not just as spirits, but in flesh. Others could curse enemies or bind souls to eternal torment. The book offered blessings, eternal life, wisdom, power, but it also unleashed curses, madness, haunting, and death that would not end. The priests became gatekeepers, but also sorcerers. Some used the book to serve the pharaohs. Others, hungry for power, used it for their own gain. The line between priest and witch, protector and destroyer, blurred. Now, let's step into the palace of Pharaoh Amenhotep III, 3,200 years ago. His beloved daughter, Princess Sitamun has died suddenly of a fever. The pharaoh is inconsolable. The court mourns. But in the darkness, the high priest whispers of a forbidden ritual, a way to bring the princess back. In the tomb, deep underground, the priest stands over the princess's body, the book of the dead open before him. The ritual is dangerous. The priest chants the ancient words, draws symbols in the air, sprinkles sacred oils, and places a golden amulet on the princess's chest. The room grows cold, the candles flicker. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the princess's eyes flutter open. She gasps, her skin pale as moonlight. The pharaoh weeps with joy, embracing his daughter. The court rejoices, but the priest warns, she has crossed the threshold. She is not as she was. In the days that follow, Princess Sitamun is changed. She remembers her family, but her eyes are distant. She speaks of shadows in the underworld, of voices calling her back. At night, she wanders the palace, unable to sleep. The people whisper that she is haunted, that the gods are angry. Within a year, the princess falls ill again. This time, nothing can save her. The pharaoh, heartbroken, orders the Book of the Dead to be hidden away, its use forbidden except in the gravest need.
But the story does not end there. A century later, during the reign of Pharaoh Seti I, Egypt is at war. Seti's most loyal general, Horemheb, is killed in battle. The pharaoh, desperate for victory, commands his priests to use the book. The ritual is performed in secret beneath the temple of Osiris. The priests chant, their voices echoing through the stone halls. Horemheb's body is laid on a slab, surrounded by offerings. As the final spell is spoken, a wind howls through the chamber. Horemheb's chest rises. He sits up, eyes burning with unnatural light. He remembers the battle, the pain, the darkness. He remembers the book. Seti welcomes his general back, and for a time, Egypt's armies are unstoppable. But Horemheb is not the man he was. He is cold, ruthless, driven by a hunger he cannot name. He dreams of the underworld, of endless war. His soldiers begin to fear him, whispering that he is cursed. When Seti dies, Horemheb vanishes into the desert. Some say he wanders still, a restless spirit, searching for peace. But the book's power was not only for the mighty. In a small village, a young woman named Merit loses her husband in a building accident. Grief-stricken, she begs the local priest for help. Moved by her sorrow, the priest agrees to use a single spell from the book. The ritual is simple: a prayer, a lock of hair, a drop of blood. The priest chants, and the husband's spirit returns, but only for a night. He comforts Merit, tells her to let him go, and warns her never to seek him again. The next morning, Merit finds her hair turned white, her eyes forever haunted by what she saw. As the book's power spreads, priests and nobles use it to settle scores, to curse rivals, to summon the dead for advice or vengeance. The boundaries between life and death blur. Ghosts are seen in the streets. Crops fail. The Nile floods unpredictably. The people grow afraid. The pharaohs realize too late that the book is not a gift, but a curse. Wars break out between rival temples, each seeking to control the book's secrets. Assassinations, betrayals, and dark magic become common. The land is thrown into chaos. The high priests gather in secret. They decide the book must be hidden, its most dangerous spells destroyed. They scatter its pages across Egypt, some buried with trusted priests, others hidden in temples, a few smuggled out of the country entirely. All of this unfolded in the heart of ancient Egypt, Kemet, centered in Waset, Thebes, but spreading to Abydos, Memphis, and beyond.
the Valley of the Kings became a place of both reverence and fear, its tombs filled with spells and curses. Today, these places still exist. The ruins of Thebes stand silent, the tombs of the Valley of the Kings open to tourists, but the air is thick with memory. Locals still speak in hushed tones of the old magic, and some refuse to enter certain tombs after dark.
Is the book's power gone? Some say yes. The rituals are lost, the spells forgotten. But others whisper that fragments survive. In remote villages, elders tell stories of dreams haunted by the dead, of amulets that protect against curses, of words that should never be spoken aloud. In 1842, when Lepsius uncovered the papyrus, strange things were said to happen. Workers fell ill. Shadows moved in the corners of the tomb. Some believe the book's curse followed its pages to Europe, where they now rest in museums: London, Paris, Berlin, Cairo. Even today, Egyptologists report strange dreams, unexplained accidents, and a sense of being watched when they study the book. The locals warn, some secrets are better left buried. What does this story tell us about African spiritual reality? In Egypt, as across Africa, the line between the living and the dead is thin. Ancestors are not gone. They walk beside us, guide us, and sometimes, if angered or disturbed, haunt us. The Book of the Dead is a testament to the power of words, of ritual, of belief. It shows that the spiritual world is not just a place of comfort, but of danger. The ancestors can bless, but they can also curse. The divine is not always gentle. Why hasn't the world heard the true story of the Book of the Dead? Because its power was feared, its secrets hidden. The Book of the Dead is not just an Egyptian story. It is a global mystery, a warning, and a promise. So, the next time you walk the sands of Egypt or stand before the tombs of the pharaohs, remember, some stories are not just history. They are warnings. The Book of the Dead was a gift, a curse, and a mirror of the human soul. It raised the dead, but it also destroyed the living. Its power lingers in the shadows, in the whispers, in the dreams of those who dare to remember. This is Voices of the Forgotten. If you want more untold African mysteries and real spiritual stories, like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe.